Tom. So great bank holiday for us. I guess we'll be trying to keep those good performances and good mood carrying on this weekend.
Yeah, I think Hugo alluded to it after the Morecambe game, that we as a staff and as a group, the players I think have genuinely believed we've been very close to doing what we did over the bank holiday. In all of the games we've played, we've been really close, fine margins why we lost them 3 games. So, you know, without sounding like I told you so, we believed so that was going to happen. So it's quite often the case when you go very, very close on a few occasions that someone ends up getting a wallop, and that happened on the Saturday. And of course, people are not making excuses, but giving them excuses to Morecambe, which I completely understand. But we had less time to recover than they did, and we didn't make any changes. So that's a testament to the fitness and the preparation that my staff have put our players in. And just coming off the training ground there this morning, the numbers are swelling. The squad's getting stronger in physicality and mentality, I think. And hopefully we're on an upward curve.
Well, that's it as well, isn't it? Even the lads that have been playing these early games, they're growing to play together as well. They're gelling a bit more, aren't they? And they're getting used to your system as well. So even when we're getting the players back from injury, which helps us get stronger, it's the players as well that are getting stronger too, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the discussion we've had this morning, after a brilliant training session, I've got to say the lads have looked sharp and fresh for the rest that they've had. Leaders are emerging in different forms. There's people who are vocal, there's people who just get about their business and do their job. And there's people who you can see are leader of men who are new to the group. So everybody was asking why I didn't name a captain, is because I want the whole group to be of one mind. My mind, but their actions. Yeah. And whoever wears the armband will get the respect of everybody on the pitch because they've got the captain's armband on. But, you know, it doesn't matter whether you're 21 and playing at left wing back or you're 30 and playing at centre half. The lads listen to each other, and that's something, it's a thread that we've got going right through the group. And like I said, the numbers are swelling. Big Ben will be back shortly. Ryan Jones is back in the building, and they're not far away from being part of the matchday squad. So, yeah, it's going to get interesting. You got Theo coming back from suspension, and not to everybody's cup of tea, but he's certainly going to be, you know, testing the nerves of us as a staff to not go back to what we're used to.
And another thing that's been a bit collective so far this season is the goals. Obviously Ryan's leading the way there because of his penalties and stuff, but there's been goals from everywhere, hasn't there, which must be pleasing.
It's something that's been a hallmark of our side since I've been at the club. As I was conceding too many, but that sometimes happens because you're as open as we tend to be when we play forward. But it's an element of the game we're looking to improve, obviously at the far end or the back end of the pitch. But I'll never restrict forward-thinking flair players. I'll never restrict them from doing what they do best, because if you did, then you're only going to ask them to do the things better that they're not very good at. So, you know, it's one of them things that we're not getting excited because we got 9 goals in the 2 games over the bank holiday weekend. We got 6 goals in the previous 3 games, which should have been enough to win 3 more games, in my opinion. So we very much, we have been very much a cup half full rather than a cup half empty, even when we hadn't a point on the board. The 2 games doesn't change our stance, doesn't change my aim, doesn't change our goals. We just want to repeat and become a consistent entity from back to front. If we do that, if you ask the 5 teams who we've played so far, I think we could be a match for anybody in the division.
Well, only 1 goal conceded in that bank holiday weekend, so that must be very pleasing as well. Is that a sign of progress in the defensive capabilities?
Well, you'd like to think so, but then you've got to look at the opposition's ability to score goals in them 2 games. And I thought against Solihull, they absolutely carried a real threat. You know, the set play, the long throw, the direct play was a problem, but we stood up. And I think the preparation we did going into that game was a little bit more like erring towards knowing what was coming that way. With the Morecambe situation, we felt that we were going to dominate the game when we wanted to do that. And both forethoughts came true, to be honest with you. And that's not us being clever or, you know, genius. It's just that's the way it worked. And we managed to fend off the threat that both teams caused and go and score. If anything, I was really disappointed with the goal we conceded at Solihull, and I was actually disappointed that we didn't score more goals in both the games. And that sounds daft when I'm hearing we've scored more goals than most in this division, because I think the amount of times we've gone into the amount of times we've gone into the opposition's box is way up there in terms of, in the top 5 in the division. So, listen, there's a lot. People are very quick to tell you when things go wrong. Trust me, I know that as a football manager, but you've got to stop for a minute sometimes and think about how many things are going right. And there's a lot of things going right with a new second youngest group in the division at the moment. I think we're doing all right.
But whilst we might have a bit of confidence from our results over the bank holiday, it's safe to say Gateshead might as well. A pretty extraordinary win on Monday there, turning it around from 3-0 down.
Well,
so a tough test, isn't it?
Lads from up there never give up, I know that. So, look, they had a hell of a result, a remarkable result. If you'd have looked at the half-time scores on Monday, everybody, nobody would have had, them coming away with nothing. But for Alan to have revitalised them at half-time, which he obviously did, and to come away with a win is remarkable. And so listen, we're gonna show them the respect we've never had an easy game against Gateshead, home or away. They play football, they know what they're about, they've got an identity, and we've got to try and go and impart our will on them as much as they'll want to do the same to us.